Hi, Astrid. Good evening.
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
How is everything?
It was great. Thank you, teacher. And you?
Everything was great. Thank you for asking. So, yesterday we couldn't have classes because I had a problem with the company,
Mhm.
with the internet. So, thank you for understanding. We're gonna reschedule the class, right?
Okay, teacher. It will be for tomorrow.
Are you available?
Yes, yes, teacher.
At what time?
I think that since 6 or 5.
Okay. In Bolivia could be at 4 p.m., right?
Oh, maybe 5, teacher. 5 in 6 in
Bolivia.
Peru and 5 in feet. Sorry.
Okay. Yes. Let me check. Okay. So in Bolivia it could be 5 p.m. and you're in your country at 6, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. So yes, that would be a great idea, right? So we're going to reschedule tomorrow we're going to reschedule the class for tomorrow at 5 p.m. and your country at 6 p.m. Right?
Okay, teacher.
All right, thank you. So do you have any question maybe?
Um, for the time and for the schedule, or
I'm
for
sorry?
the schedule, teacher, for tomorrow.
Yes,
It will be 1 hour or
yes, an hour. We were
uh,
supposed to, well, 2 hours, I guess, would be difficult because I have another things to do, right? So, but I don't think so. I've never had classes like 2 hours with my students. It's a little bit harder, right?
okay, teacher.
So it's gonna be an hour, right? The next class because we missed 2 classes this week, right?
We
I
have
guess
2 classes more, 2 weeks.
no,
Or I don't.
no. In this week, we have missed 2 classes, right?
Yes.
Yesterday, and I don't remember the other day. So yesterday classes we're gonna reschedule for tomorrow, and then we're gonna reschedule the other class for the next week. Okay.
Okay, teacher. It's good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Astrid. So okay, we're gonna start with today's classes. We stop in past perfect, right?
Yes, teacher. That's perfect.
Okay, thank you. So let's start with this new lesson. Okay, this is a short lesson, right? So we're going to have enough time to practice our reading, right? So, okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So let's listen the first sound.
Hello, it's nice to see you again. Today, it's time to learn about infinitives after adjectives and nouns. We use these a lot in English, and they're pretty easy to understand. Are you ready to begin? Okay.
Okay, so we have after adjectives, nice, easy, ready, and after nouns, time. This is about infinitives after adjectives in this list, and in the other column we have nouns. So let's listen the first audio.
As you know, we can use the infinitive after certain verbs, but we can also use the infinitive after certain adjectives. Are you ready to go? Many of these adjectives describe a feeling about the action in the infinitive.
Talia was anxious to work on the story.
Okay. This is something that we already seen. We already learned, and it is about the adjective, the infinitive. I mean, we know that the infinitive is formed by the infinitive plus the base form of the verb, right? To go. It's the most common verb. To go. Okay, this is the infinitive. But after this infinitive, we have after certain verbs, we know how to use it. If I'm going to have, for example, what verb? I don't have anything in mind. Okay, we're gonna suppose that we're going to have an any verb. Need, for example, yes, need. Need to go. Right? So then follow this verb. I need to use the infinitive. We already know that. We can use infinitive after certain verbs, and after certain other verbs, we're gonna use with the gerund, right? Keep looking, for example, keep looking. There is no infinitive in that way. So now we're gonna learn some. It's not like there is not a list, right? You actually can use whatever adjective that you choose for your context. Now, of course, it depends on the situation, right? For example, we have ready. Are you ready to go? So ready is the adjective. We know that an adjective is a noun that describes, right, or qualify. We have certain types of adjectives, right? Qualifying adjectives, right? Then we have descriptive adjectives. We have a lot of adjectives, right? But we're not going to focus on that because that's part of another part of grammar. But the point here is that you can use these adjectives. An adjective is what is going to describe maybe to someone or something. And many of these adjectives describe a feeling about the action in the infinitive. What does it mean? Anxious about what? Work, right? It is linked, right? It is linked in some way. So it is about the verb that you're gonna use, right? I was anxious about what? Work, about working in this case. To work on the story. Now, look at the structure. We have the adjective, you can decide wherever. And one of these uses is to describe feeling about the action. What is the feeling in this case? Anxious about the action is to work. So then you're gonna use the infinitive. Sally was anxious to go and to work on the story. Are you ready to go? So it's up to you which adjective you're gonna use. It depends on your context for sure. So that will be everything about point number 1. Astrid, do you have any question?
No, teacher, it's clear. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's continue with point number 2.
We can also use the infinitive after some nouns. The noun plus infinitive combination often expresses necessity or advice.
I have a confession to make. Why don't we just take a little time to enjoy ourselves?
Here are some more examples.
Do you have permission to go?
She's the person to ask.
I have a test to study for. It's time to leave.
Okay, so we have another use of this this infinitive, right? And first of all, we're gonna look for the structure. It's the noun plus infinitive. Noun, infinitive, noun, infinitive, noun, infinitive, noun, infinitive, right? When are we gonna use this kind of structure? It often expresses a necessity for advice, right? So when you're gonna give an advice or you want to express a necessity about something you have, maybe, so you're gonna choose for this structure. You're gonna look for this structure. I have a confession to make. Okay, so we have the noun and then we have the infinitive. Why don't we just take a little time to enjoy ourselves? This is an advice. This is a necessity. I have a confession to make. And this is an advice. Why don't we just take a little time to enjoy ourselves? Then here you'll have some examples. Do you have permission to go? Right. She's the person to ask. I have a test to study for. This is very common, right? Notice that we use the particle, no, the preposition for at the end. This doesn't happen in Spanish, right? I have a test to study. Then that's all that we say in Spanish. But in English, we actually use the prepositions at the end of the sentence, right? And you're gonna notice this in some movies, even though in some songs, right? I have a test to study for. I have to ask you about, no, that's what I told you about. An example, that's what I told you about, right? There is not a necessity to add something else at the end because we understand, right? It's like we want to avoid the repetition, so that's the reason of why we say or we use some prepositions at the end of the sentence. I have a test to study for, and it doesn't mean that it is incomplete, right? It is complete. One of my students asked me, this year told me, teacher, but this is an incomplete sentence because for what, right? We actually use the prepositions at the end of a sentence when the meaning is clear, right? So, do you have any question about this point?
Teacher, I didn't understand very well when you said when the preposition is in the finish of the sentence.
It's at the end? It's at the end?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Do you need an explanation for that?
Yes, please.
Oh, for sure. I guess I sent you some. I guess I sent you some prepositions. I'm not sure to your WhatsApp.
I don't remember. Okay, I'm going to check.
Okay, yes, please. To understand this part, it's important to recognize what is a preposition, what kind of prepositions we have, right? So, okay, I'm gonna look for it in a second. I'm not sure. Oh.
Tense stable.
I guess I already sent it, but let me check. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna send you right now some prepositions that we have. I'm trying to look for it. Yes. So, okay. Prepositions were received. I don't remember what my students I sent. Who is this other girl? Oh, I guess it's Daniela. So please give me a second. Oh yes, I sent her. So I'm going to send it right now. We have this kind of prepositions, right? Where's your chat? I can't find it. Okay, yes, I got it. All right. So where is a preposition? is one of the parts of the speech that correlates between two different words or phrases, usually about time or place. That's a preposition, right? We use these prepositions in order to join two sentences. Okay, now the question. You're gonna look for some movies and even those for some songs, right? It's common. And the question here is it okay to end a sentence with a preposition, right? Well, the answer to this question is maybe sometimes, right? Well, when is it wrong to end a sentence with a preposition? For when we're going to talk informal communication, it's not a mistake to end a sentence with a preposition, but it may seem out of place in formal communication, right? Just like you avoid using slang or emoji in certain situations, you also avoid ending a sentence with a preposition in some contexts, right? So, for example, when we're gonna decide to end the sentence, as in this case, right? We're ending the sentence with a preposition, right? If I ask, for example, my friends questions like, with whom are you seeing a movie, or about what are you talking, I would get teased, right? Because this is very formal, right? An informal conversation, we use it with prepositions. We finish with a preposition. An example, if I'm going to say, especially in questions, it is very common, right? What are you thinking? Okay, what are you thinking? But I need a preposition, right? It automatically happens. It is like, for example, when we're gonna choose, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking about my parents, right? So then we're ending the question with a preposition. It's common to say what informal way, right? Informal way. We could say what are you looking, right? What are you looking? But in informal conversation, it's very common in informal speech. You can't imagine, it's very common. That's the reason why I told you you're gonna find this kind of question everywhere, this kind of use of the preposition everywhere. So what are you looking at, right? We're ending with a preposition. So what else? Yes, that will be right. So it's up to you if you're going to use, right? But it's very common, as I told you, right? It's very, very common. Unless you're gonna talk with your boss, right? You have to avoid it because it's very informal, right? So how can we know that a preposition is a word that creates a relationship between other words, right? For example, the picture is above the fireplace. The nice time is by the bed, right? We went for a walk before dinner. We had stress after dinner, right? And when can a sentence end with a preposition, right? Well, when it's important conversation, right? So when we're going to talk informal one, yes, we're gonna opt to finish. And something that is important is when we use phrasal verbs, we can also use a preposition from the phrasal verb, right? I wish we would cheer up. Cheer up is a preposition. You should leave it off. It off is a preposition, right? So yes, that will be everything. Do you have any question maybe?
Teacher, I listened well, or I didn't understand maybe, but when I use for example, when you said, what are you looking at is in the informal situation, and instead when I use what are you looking is in a formal situation, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay, teacher.
right. Para hablar en una manera informal se utiliza demasiado la preposición al final. Voy a tratar de mostrarte algunos ejemplos. Creo que me imagino que debe haber otro video porque es un tema muy polémico las preposiciones al final. So, ok, tal vez acá vamos a poder empezar. Ok, te voy a compartir mi pantalla. No hay ejemplos así como en películas tal vez que puedas sacar. Porque en realidad no es parte de la lección, pero sí es importante saber. No es una lección en realidad, es parte del inglés aprendido, modificado. Right? Well, we're gonna find this type of questions. Where are you from? From is a preposition, right? Ahora, un tip que te va a ayudar hartísimo es que si una pregunta en castellano empieza con preposición, ¿de dónde eres? De es la preposición. En inglés va al final, where are you from? ¿Dónde eres tú más o menos? Pero la preposición va al final. No se puede traducir. No hay manera de traducir porque ya estaríamos cambiando todo. Así que cuando tal vez te preguntes cuándo poner una preposición al final, trata de bajar la preposición en castellano y llevarla al final. Es como sucede. Ese es un tip. What are you thinking about? Ok, en castellano, ¿acerca de qué estás pensando? En inglés, ponemos la preposición al final. Then I can see more. Me van a cancelar el canal de YouTube si pongo el audio, así que lo voy a quitar. ¿Qué más? A ver. Ok. Where are you looking at? Este es el ejemplo que te decía. O what are you interested? What are you interested in? ¿En qué estás interesado? Ok, entonces eso va al final. ¿En qué estás mirando? ¿A qué estás mirando? Esta preposición ¿a qué? Va al final. What did you sell it to? Who did you sell it to? ¿A quién? Right, ¿a quién? Va al final. Right? Hay muchas maneras de traducir en realidad, pero es más fácil pasarlo directamente, ¿ok? Pero sí, a veces sí es complicado saber qué preposición vas a utilizar, porque tenemos bastantes, ¿right? La que en castellano va al principio.
Ya. Justo
Yes.
quería preguntar de que generalmente sí se cumple de que en español cuando comienza una oración, una pregunta con preposición, en el inglés también va a ser que va a terminar la oración en una preposición. Es casi un 80%, digamos, o siempre pasa.
Es casi siempre. No digo siempre porque
Ajá.
sí hay algunas excepciones. Es tan complicado,
Mm.
especialmente esto es súper complicado de traducir. Porque o cambian las preposiciones o lo que parecen ser preposiciones en inglés en castellano no son, right? Entonces, justamente por
Claro.
eso es complicado. Por eso se recomienda no traducir y directamente pensarlo y ya se te va a hacer automático, es cuestión de practicar. For example, if I'm going it's perfectly fine to end a sentence with a preposition using prepositions like to, for, in, and from, right? At the end of the sentence, is grammatically acceptable, right? Nos fijamos, puede ser tal vez incorrecto su uso cuando es una conversación formal y yo utilizo esta informalidad porque es informalidad. But in some, the exception, if we can call like that, are the prepositions like to, for, in, and from at the end of the sentence. It's grammatically acceptable, right? And often the more natural choice in both speech and writing, right? If, for example, this is the answer. We were looking for, right? ¿Podríamos añadir más información? Sí, podríamos, pero se utiliza otro de los usos de las preposiciones al final de la oración, es justamente para evitar la repetición, right? Por eso se nos hace mucho más fácil utilizar la preposición y ya acabó. En castellano sonaría mal, right? Sonaría incompleto. Okay. So what else? One example more. Okay, I don't know what you're referring to, right? Para estas te vas a dar cuenta que se hace complicado sacar del castellano al inglés, right? Es bien, no se podría. Hasta para mí se me hace un poquito complicado. Especialmente esto de las preguntas solo aplica para poner que en castellano es así y en inglés va al final, solo aplican preguntas. Para esto la pregunta ¿de qué depende? ¿De qué preposición depende la oración? Eso depende de lo que vayas a querer decir adelante. Es decir, this is the answer that we were looking for the test we're going to suppose. For the test with my best friend, for example, right? Esa información podría ser repetitiva, pero sé que después de esto sigue un nombre, entonces ahí ya decido qué preposición voy a utilizar, right? Entonces, por lo general, el looking for trabaja tal cual, no se lo separa, independientemente de lo que vayas a hablar de más, no es tan, no, ok, no se separa, right? Siempre, en su mayoría de las veces, siempre va a ser looking for, right? Dependiendo de lo que imaginariamente dirías para completar la oración, de eso va a depender la preposición que vas a utilizar, right? Terminal prepositions are grammatically fine, as I told you, but are thought to lend an informal tone in writing. We have to take care in that part, right? For example, a population is the group about which we want to draw an inference. Acá estoy utilizando la preposición about, pero como es académico y formal, necesito ponerle información. Entonces, también tenemos algunas veces donde la preposición va a ser innecesaria, right? That rephrasing, right, to about ending a sentence with a preposition can result unnecessary, right? And weird in some cases, right? For example, this is the world we live in, right? This is the word. Give me a second, I'm gonna write it. The acceptable one could be this is the word. This is the world. Oh, this is the world. Acá tendría que ir mi preposición, right? In, supongamos, pero lo voy a poner de lo que this is the word. Oh, sorry, that's an was supposed to be empty. Okay, this is the word we live in. Okay, eso está bien. This is acceptable, right? But an unnecessary use of the preposition of the in would be it is the word. This is the word in. Ya para querer poner la preposición al medio, se puede. Puedes poner al final o puedes poner al medio. Pero si vas a decidir poner al medio la preposición como hemos aprendido, tendrías que tal vez utilizar más palabras y cambiar el contexto. Si voy a poner directamente in will live in, estaría mal. Entonces vamos a ver. In which, ya estoy utilizando. Ya puedo ser llamado como adjective clauses, right? Relative pronoun. In which we live. ¿Ok? Pero es redundante. Por eso se decide a veces utilizar la preposición al final. Es más directo, no hay necesidad de añadir más palabras, porque finalmente lo que se quiere es eso, right? Ya cualquier idioma modificado, acortamos palabras automáticamente. For example, is this what you were referring to? The
Yes,
incorrect.
teacher.
Okay, so we're gonna take that example. Is that what you were referring to? He utilizado la preposición al final. Un uso incorrecto o innecesario. Is this the, is this the, no, is this, no, I said that. Is that to? Mi preposición es to which you were referring to. Ok, o directamente to, porque puede ser muy redundante. Les recomiendo poner las preposiciones al final para poder ser más directos y evitar la repetición. Ok,
Okay, teacher, thank you.
all right. Do you have maybe another question? Is it clear?
I think it's clear now. Thank you.
All right. Well, you actually, there is, you know what is, this is an English modified, unmodified English, because this is not part of the lesson, you know. These are we have some things where you're gonna find when you speak with I don't know, you're gonna travel to a country where people talk in English, right? They speak English. So in that way, you're gonna learn. But this is not part of the lesson because it's not grammar. Okay? Entonces son de las pocas lecciones que no se consideran gramáticamente lección porque es un inglés modificado, adaptado, como slangs, algo por el estilo. Ok, entonces esa es la diferencia, por eso es que no tenemos una lección, porque no es algo gramáticamente, no es parte de la gramática. Ok, así que no, y lo malo de no ser gramática es que no hay una estructura en la que te puedas basar, como por ejemplo si digo
Definir.
present perfect. Ajá, exacto. Como si decimos present perfect, ya sabes, el sujeto y tal, y tal, y tal. En estas pocas lecciones, así del inglés adaptado, no encontramos eso. Por eso es que se tratan de buscar tips para ver cómo funciona y ya empezar a utilizar. Y cuando se utiliza en realidad, practicando. Vas a encontrar esto en millones de películas, en muchas canciones, y te vas a dar cuenta. Entonces ahí en ese orden vas a poder ubicarlo porque es un inglés adaptado. ¿Ok? Do you get it?
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
All right. So now we're going to continue with the lesson. So we stop in, okay. So I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to continue with point number 3. So as you've seen, until this point, we have the options to use the infinitives with some adjectives or some nouns, right? It depends on your context. So now we're going to continue with point number 3, and it is about an adjective. We know that an adjective, well, this is a combination, an adjective plus a noun. So let's listen to the other.
We also use infinitives after adjective plus noun combination.
That's an easy mistake to make.
Jackie really wants to be famous.
But it's a high price to pay for fame.
Okay, so we have an adjective, easy. We have a noun. And then follow them, we're going to use the infinitive, easy mistake to make. But it's a high price to pay for fame, right? So you have the option to use the adjectives with nouns, easy mistake, high price, sorry. Then you're going to use the infinitive. And this is something that we do every day, right? There is no way to talk without an infinitive, right? So it goes automatically. That's the good part, right? When we directly think in English, right? When we directly think in English, then it happens automatically, right? So let's continue with. Do you have any question about point number 3?
No, teacher.
Okay, so then let's continue with point number 4 and the use of this preposition.
We often use for plus a noun or pronoun before the infinitive when we include the subject of the infinitive.
It's important for the Federation to hear the recording.
It's time for us to go.
Okay, this is an important point, right? We are going to use this structure, right? When we're going to have a subject of the infinitive. What does it mean? In this sentence, I'm going to notice that I have the subject, the Federation, and for us, the object. In this case, we have an object pronoun, us, right? Okay, so when I'm going to have this, right? What is the subject of the infinitive for the Federation? So here, for whom? For the Federation. It's important. We're gonna use for. It's up to you to use a noun or a pronoun, but it goes in the middle, right? When we're going to include the subject of the infinitive. Okay, so this is linked, right? It's time to go, but I need, if I want to include the subject, I'm gonna place it at the middle. It's time for us to go. For us, for them, for Nick, for Fabi, for the Federation, to here, to go, right? And yes, that will be everything about this lesson. Actually, do you have maybe any question? Is everything clear?
I think it's clear. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. We're going to practice. Where is it? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Once you can see it, please let me know.
I can see it. Teacher.
Okay, so can you please read the instruction?
Okay. Rearrange the words in each box to form a sentence, typing it into the blank. I wonder what's taking Talia so long. Maybe it's maybe it's her time to call us for.
It's sorry.
Her time.
Okay,
Yes.
for time.
To call us for
And for, I don't think so. Maybe could be it's time.
oh, it's time to call her.
Don't forget the structure. We have for, okay? So then we have a subject, an object, sorry, in this case, right? It's time for,
For call.
do you remember the structure? It's time, we have the now.
Mhm.
Then we have for, now we need we need an object. For who? Or for whom?
It's time for
You have two options. Us
her.
and her.
Her.
It's time for her. Now goes the infinitive. To
Call us. Mm.
call us. Now, the question, does it go with the context? I wonder what's taking Talia so long. It's time for her to call us. How about for us? Because it's talking about Talia. Well, about Tony and Amy in this case. I wonder what's taking Talia so long. It's time to go, right? It's time for us to call her. Okay, because it's referring to Talia. Did you get it?
Just teacher, just
Okay, give me a second, please. I want to check something. Okay. So don't forget the structure, right? When we're going to use for, right? The next word, we're gonna call a word, right? The next word that it needs to be in is the pronoun, the noun, or maybe an object, right? If we're gonna say it's time for to call us for what, I need something. So it goes the object or maybe the noun, right? So don't forget the structure is in this case the noun. When we're going to have the object of the infinitive, we're gonna place it at the middle, right? That's what we've seen in point number 5, I guess, right? So let's continue with the second exercise. Don't worry, she has a really good plan. I think it's going to work. So what do you think?
I'm happy to hear that.
I'm happy to hear. I'm happy to hear that. Why didn't you air this story about Nick on the news tonight?
Eh, mm, eh,
In this box, we have the subject. So always, it always starts with the subject. So I, okay? Now, what else do you think? We're gonna erase this. I,
I made.
okay, thank you. I mean,
Wait a minute.
What did Tony make? You have your subject and the verb. Now maybe we need a noun.
To wait the decision.
The decision. I made the decision to win. Okay. Because I wanted to speak Italian first. Okay. Let's continue with the next part. Okay, it's the same exercise. She and Nick are having dinner at Valentino's.
And that's a nice place to eat.
Oh, okay, thank you. That's a nice place to eat. Do you think the federation will let Nick play again?
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. It depends on the problem Nick gives them. What will happen if Nick can't play?
It's impossible for them to win without.
It's impossible for them, you saw, for them
To win.
to win without me. That's all. You've seen this structure. It's not difficult. When I'm going to have this subject, right? When I'm going to include in my sentence the subject, I'm going to place at the middle. So what does it mean? I'm gonna have the noun, the possible. Then I have the subject, so the object, sorry, so I'm gonna place it in the middle. Entonces, si tengo un nombre, y tengo el objeto del infinitivo, tengo que necesariamente poner al centro, right? En castellano lo que hacemos es poner al final, right? It's impossible to win for them, something like that. Es imposible ganar o algo así podría ser, pero generalmente acostumbramos a poner al final. En inglés ponemos al centro, ¿ok? Es decir, el nombre, utilizamos for, que es si es que vas a utilizar algún objeto, que va a estar ligado con el verbo. It's impossible for them to win without me. Okay? Do you get it?
Sure. I would like to see again the first question because I didn't understand very well.
In this part? This one or which
It's
one?
yes. Amy refers that es tiempo de que ella, o sea, Amy llamen, que Talia nos llamen. Okay.
Podría ser tal vez, I wonder what's taking, me pregunto, I wonder qué está tomando Talia demorarse. No hay traducción del solo directamente en esta oración. Maybe, tal vez es tiempo para maybe it's time for her to call us. Tal vez está haciendo referencia a Talia, right? Maybe it's
Ay,
time
no
for her
sé
to
que ella
call
nos
us.
llame.
Okay, but give me a second. It's time for her to call us. Oh, no. En este caso está haciendo referencia a Tony and Amy. No, yes. For us. Call her. Sí, porque finalmente ella es la que está demorándose. Right? I wonder what's taking Talia so long. Maybe it's time for us, es tiempo para
De
llamar.
nosotros
llamar.
llamarle.
Exactamente, right? Podría ser también con her, pero habría que cambiar el contexto. ¿Ok? Pero si está correcto, bueno, se avanza. Thank you for the observation. Now we're going to submit and let's check. Okay, now it was great, right? We were near to have a mistake in this part. We have to take care in that part, and it depends on the content you're using. So, do you have maybe another question? Was it difficult for you to understand? Oh,
Yes, teacher, the I don't know, the third or the fourth.
Was it? For you to understand? Oh. Justo acabo de utilizar sin darme cuenta esta lección, right? Was it difficult? Tengo el nombre. Was it difficult to understand? Podría decir si es que no habría si no tendría el listener, right? O si no quiero mencionar al listener. Pero en este caso estoy siendo directa contigo. Was it difficult?
Sí.
¿Era difícil para quién? ¿Para ti? ¿Entender? Ok, entonces esto está ligado con el verbo, right? Con el infinitivo. What was your question, sorry?
Just the last one. No. The last one was, but no.
Oh,
Then
the first part.
Yes. Why didn't you air the story? Air, teacher, it's referred to.
It refers to lead. Well, no, not directly. To make the live streaming on the news. Air es como transmitir. Van a estar al aire en 3 minutos, right? ¿Por qué no? ¿Cómo estar al aire? ¿Ok?
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yes, teacher. Okay, thank you.
All right. I guess you have a problem in this part, right? I made the decision to wait. You were near to place. I made to wait the decision, right? No podría ser porque se perdería la coherencia de la oración, right? Tomé, made sería como tomé. I made o hice, sí, tomé, hice. ¿Cómo tomar? Tomé la decisión de esperar, right? Si ponemos al final, tomé, esperar, la decisión no tendría sentido, right? Por eso es que tiene que mantener su coherencia, right? So yes, that will be, right? That will be the explanation of this question in this case. Okay?
Teacher, thank you.
Do you have maybe another question, Astrid?
No, that's all, teacher.
Okay, so if you have any question, just let me know, right? So, okay, so because it's time, we're gonna stop until this part. I'm gonna see you tomorrow until, at 5 p.m. in Bolivia, at 6 p.m. in your country, right?
5 p.m. in my country.
6
And
p.m. in
6
your
in your 5 p.m. in my country and 6 in Bolivia, I think, or no?
It will be 5 p.m. in Bolivia and 6 p.m. in your country. Right or not?
No.
And what time it will be?
Eh,
Está pero adelantada por 1 hora, ¿no?
Creo. No, a ver, me confundí.
Creo,
Repite.
no, no, en Bolivia está más atrasado, está más adelantado. Sí. Porque ahorita acá ya son las 10:30 y ya creo que son las 8:30, 9:30.
9:30.
Entonces estamos más adelantados con 1 hora.
Ajá, nosotros 5 y para usted
Para mí,
las 6.
exactamente. Right?
Ajá.
¿Podrías pasar 1 hora antes, Astrid?
O sea, a las 7 de la noche en hora de Bolivia.
A las 5 en
No,
Bolivia.
antes. O sea, a
Sí,
las 4.
Ajá.
Tal vez yo voy a salir todo el día y así, bueno, me veo que voy a estar llegando tal vez 3 o me puede llegar hasta 4:30 de mi casa. Por eso más o menos he hecho 5 para no llegar tarde o por si
Ok,
pasa algo.
ok. Entonces, está bien, no hay problema.
¿Sí?
Entonces, cualquier cosa nos comunicamos por WhatsApp. Te voy a avisar un ratito antes para unirnos a la llamada. O si es que te desocupas antes, me avisas, por favor, ¿sí?
Ya, si voy a estar 1 hora, yo le aviso entonces. Si voy a
Perfecto,
estar
Astrid.
para las 4 en mi país, estaría bien.
Ajá,
Ya,
sería las 5. Right?
ok, teacher.
All right. Thank you, Astrid. Thank you for your attention. Have a great night, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Ok, teacher, thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.